How are you feeling, Melanie? I think I'm going to speak first to give you time.
Oh, we were live. I was like, oh God, I'm hot. I need a minute. And then I was like, oh, we are live. Yes, you speak first.
Yes, we are live. So I really want to say thank you because I was so focused on bringing the sound healing that I really didn't speak that much. I felt that we had a time now to speak. I did a print screen here. Jessica said, this is like when you change classes in high school. So I feel I should finish 1 minute earlier just to give people more time to change.
Right.
And also Peter Brooks said, and I love this, I want to bring this up, I'm going to be so clean with two sound baths. And someone said, yeah, Peter, working at the car wash. It was Lucy. It was so funny. So welcome everybody. This is something that we spoke about doing. I was commenting with Melanie, and I also want to read that, and maybe we start from here. I have been receiving so many messages about the conflicts that we had in Europe very recently, that we were feeling we really need to bring this up again, the need for collective healing. And sound healing has the power to connect, not only sound healing, energy also, but we have this power to really connect in a mastermind. We have been doing these healing circles on a group here on Inside Timer called Sound Healing Mastermind, and they have been very powerful. I received this message from someone that I'm not going to say the name, saying after the healing circle we did, with the intention to bring love and healing to one of these countries that were in conflict. This person that is in one of those countries sent me a message saying, Dearest Fatima, thank you so much for yesterday night. During the meditation, I used your cue to close my eyes, concentrate with the music, and gradually entered a state of relaxation. It was very powerful to come together with people from around the world in a joint meditation. Unfortunately, at 2:30 a.m., there was another air raid, and we had to rush to the shelter. But then I found it easier to go back to sleep. I'm getting goosebumps. I found it easier to go back to sleep once we returned home, and I am sure that it was thanks to the impact of the meditation. I also want to thank you for maintaining the privacy. Let me see if I should read the rest. So this is someone that has a family, has 3 kids. Just for you to have an idea, the school is impacted. The concerts, if they had auditions and concerts, everything was canceled at that time. So the impact of the meditation we are doing and of this kind of event together is much more powerful than any of us can imagine. I think I'm going to pass the word now to you, Melanie, because I just want to bring this up. And then we had this conversation, right? The need for collective healing.
Yes. So I just, first of all, want to say thank you to you and to Violet, because as always, if any of us suggest anything, you're just all in and like, yes. And I do think the power of all of our intentions and the collective is beyond anything that really we individually know. But I do know that one, when we heal ourselves, we're healing the world. And I was interviewed for a magazine, and the woman asked me, what do I consider being healed? And I said, no one is healed until we all are healed. And by that, I mean collectively in the world and not having so much conflict. And P.S., she did not publish that because it didn't fit into her realm of what she wanted to hear. And that's what I love about Insight Timer and the teachers, is that we're allowed to be honest and say the truth here, because that is the truth. And I think that's why everyone is here, because everyone has a huge heart and everyone wants to bring the best forward. And I just appreciate that from Fatima, from Violet, and from each and every one of you that maybe is here or maybe was at one of the lives earlier, and just stepping into that and remembering every day. You know, I think about a couple of things. I mean, my husband is not American, right? And he is from a place right now that a lot of people do not like. And it's hard, you know, because one person does not make the whole. But when we have a lot of angst about things, it's easy to blame people. And that's why, if you were in my live, when I talked about we all do have a heartbeat. And even when I get angry, because everybody knows I'm pretty fiery, I try to remember that, like, everyone's for the most part coming from a good place, but even sometimes when people aren't, we are all connected through that universal heartbeat, through our breath, and that is connected to love.
That was
Yes.
beautiful.
Thank you, Violet. But I just want to say this too. A Facebook memory popped up of Violet and I 1 year ago today, or
Yes.
yesterday. Violet and I went to lunch together.
Me too. I was going to tell you that. I saw that too. I had purple hair then.
Yes, you did.
Sandy is saying you need fire for the walk, Melanie.
Oh my God, I have enough of that, don't I? Come on. That's why, and I don't know if anybody saw it. That's why I wrote in the chat, and I'm like, is no one appreciating that I'm writing in the chat while holding space and playing a gong?
I was very impressed. I got to tell you, I was watching that and I'm thinking I have a meltdown just because I have to go reboot my computer to start OBS. And she's like playing the gong and she's replying in chat. She even sent me a text. I was like, how the hell does she do that?
Because I saw that you guys wrote in there you could only hear out of one, and Insight Timer reset my live. So even though I put it in high quality and not stereo, I didn't know it had reset it. So I had to go back and change it. But that's why I texted you and asked, can you hear out of one or two? Because I had changed it.
I know, my gosh, the pressure now with Insight Timer. I was looking at the camera. I'm like, am I eye level? Am I clear? Do I look too white? Are they going to come after me?
Oh, but yeah, so you know, I mean, Fatima and I talk about this all the time, the power of sound. And I think, I don't remember if it was Peter Brook that wrote it in the chat. Someone wrote about garbage. Did you see that in my chat? I'm not sure who it was. Was it you, Peter Brook? Somebody wrote about garbage and like clearing the garbage when they're listening to sound. It was Danny. Okay, thank you. And I do think that sound really has that power, especially, I mean, for me, especially gongs, it's so powerful. I mean, really it all is, but just that can really transform each and every one of us. And when I'm having a bad day, I come in here and play them for myself.
You know, because of you, I bought those little speakers that play those sound baths. And every morning I turn those things on. There's two of them. I put one on each shoulder and it's just 3 minutes. And even if it's just like I'm under stress, I will go for that. And I mean, it really helps me so much. I love those things.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel that the intention someone here was saying about feeling sad, what I was reading before, the intention is not to make anyone here sad. It's exactly the opposite. It's to bring awareness and prove that there are real cases on how meditation or sound healing can be very effective. And if we go, even if we don't speak about sound healing, right? Because we are very suspect, we work with sound healing. But even if we don't work with sound healing, just the power of mastermind, the fact that there are two minds at least connected in harmony, in the same direction, with our nervous system synchronized, with our intentions aligned, we are just amplifying the healing. And one of my intentions in this life today, the way I was asking Melanie and Violet to be here today, is to not only bring awareness, but to ask you here on the chat, and maybe we can check on what you are going to say. What can you bring into your routine? What can you add to your routine that contributes to the collective healing? Because when we speak, even in my work, when I'm speaking about chakras, we speak about our healing, the physical healing, and also the world healing, right? The way that specific chakra can contribute to the world. So in this specific case, how do you feel that you can contribute to the collective healing? Something that you can add in your routine. And Violet or Melanie, feel free to share.
I'm a huge fan of that meta prayer, and I use that all the time. Sometimes when I'm out, if I'm sitting somewhere, wherever it could be, and sometimes people are tense when you're out shopping, I'll start saying that in my head, may you be safe, may you be happy, may you be healthy. So that for me that's like my go-to. I love that meta prayer.
Yeah, I love that. And I think one of the things that I always try to do is bring practical tips to people because I'm a pretty practical person as well. I think something as small as, I don't even think small actually, holding the door open for someone, allowing that person to go before you and smiling and saying, hey, how's it going, is so huge. And sometimes it's like, when I say small, I think because for me, it doesn't take a lot of effort on my part, but how it makes another person feel is pretty extraordinary. I mean, I always say hello to people. And I think people know if I see someone's name tag, I'll be like, hey, Violet. And people will be like, oh my God, how did you know my name? And I think that's something that's underestimated. Everybody loves hearing their name. And that's such an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's
That
the
and a
ripple,
smile.
the
Mhm.
ripple effect, no, Melanie?
Yes.
When someone comes with an attitude of kindness, someone else is going to repeat that. So suddenly, in a ripple way, we are doing much more than we can imagine.
I mean, I personally feel very fortunate, and I feel like I kind of always get what I want. And that does not to sound arrogant. It's just that I feel like things come my way. And I'm pretty convinced it's because it is that ripple and that cycle that I'm giving back and then I get it in return.
I agree.
So I was looking at the chat. Liz said recognizing and acknowledging those that we come in contact with is huge. Beverly, Susan, Trish said yes, agreed.
And
Yeah,
paying it
Jamie.
forward, like for me, paying it forward is such a big deal. I remember times in my life when I struggled and had others help me. So I'm always very conscious of that. I love to pay it forward wherever I can.
When I reached out to Fátima, the whole thing, I don't know if you remember how I said to you, like, I did this, I just having all these feelings that day, and I literally just stood outside with my hands open, and I was just saying a prayer of, please, I'm calling in all the people that right now feel like I do, and let's take our collective energy and bring it forward to help heal the world. And even now when I say it, I get so much goosebumps because it is powerful what we can all do. I love what people are writing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Did you guys see what Joanne said? She said, my go-to is floating on clouds above the earth. I love it.
Yes, and Danny, I don't know if Violet was about to read the comment. I was very quiet here, respecting. But let me just say this: we didn't rehearsal anything. We didn't really. We just said let's come together. So we are just going in the flow. And
Honestly, I didn't even know what I was going to be doing. I just said yes.
Yes, what do we need to do? I don't know, but let's go.
Sure.
And that's kind of how I felt, right? I was like, let's just go on Violet's live after, or one of us said that, and we were like, yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yes. Danny was saying, I find that lately, whenever I'm visualizing myself in an energy bubble of healing in a meditation, I always expand it until I'm visualizing myself floating above the earth, and the bubble encompasses the whole planet. and more people were really resonating with what Danny said. Whatever you say in the chat, keep in mind that you are inspiring someone else. So if you feel something and you are kind of private or reserved, or you are afraid, or you are feeling like, do I have the confidence to say this? Feel free to share. I always try to open a safe space. And John Energy, he was also here. I feel he's like us. He always opens this safe space for you to feel good. So feel free to share because you are inspiring someone else.
Yes, and sometimes when you're the most afraid to speak up is maybe when you need to speak up the most. Peter Brooks said it worked so perfectly and smoothly today. That's amazing. I felt a little stressed. I don't know about you guys.
I felt very stressed. I was still working when Fatima started, so I was multitasking, and I'm thinking I've got to stop what I'm doing because I need to reboot so that I can use OBS. So I was definitely feeling the pressure.
Yeah. Patrice said I put an intention of being empathetic without over worrying. I love that.
I like
That's a
what
good-
John said too. John, that was definitely me when I became a teacher. Very shy, and I just kept pushing myself to comment and to talk and to do. And even now, like the other teachers know, when we collaborate together, I'm usually the one that speaks the least. I push myself.
That's
Usually,
amazing.
I prefer to play than to speak. I feel that I'm better
I
playing
wish
than.
I had something I could play.
Violet wants to learn to play the flute.
I do. It's sitting over here next to me. But I want the flute to play itself, actually, is what I want. My dog is
So
playing.
with this healing the collective in mind, something we have been doing in the group, in the group here on Inside Timer, is to have these healing circles where we just come together and we have an audio playing, a 432 hertz audio playing, and we just meet in this virtual room. There is nobody in the screen, it's just listening to the song, and sometimes we chat, but the intention is to really come together. If anyone here has a group on Inside Timer, I really, really suggest doing that. I know Christoph has a group. Melanie and Violet, I think you also have a group, right? So
Mine's, yeah.
creating these healing circles, and it's not because I'm doing it that anybody else cannot do it. I suggest let's all do it, because we are going to reach people that we are not that are not in my group. Maybe we are doing it for people that really need, or some people will join that never did this. So I really, really suggest doing it. And the messages I receive after the healing circles are always amazing. People here, some of them feel that they don't deserve receive the healing. Some people feel that they are too alone. Some people really, really need it and don't have the courage to ask. So not only creating a safe space for people, but also creating these opportunities for everybody to come together and let's all connect. The first time we did the healing circle was because one of our members, she's not here today, but I spoke with her this morning. One of our members, her mother-in-law had an accident, and we were like, let's get together and send healing, do a healing circle for this person. And then after that, we were having a healing circle for someone about love, a healing circle for someone that has some kind of physical situation. Let's do, and then suddenly we are already doing more and more circles. This week we have 2. So I really encourage anyone with a group here to do this.
I'm going to add them to my groups, to my group. And if you're in my group, you could, or I mean, I can't speak for you guys, but you could always reach out in the group if you want to do a healing circle, or even direct message me here on Insight Timer. That's what I did with you, Fatima, with Carrie. Carrie's been very open. I think she's here. We did a healing circle for Carrie. She had surgery. And I've been to a few of the healing circles, and they're very powerful, and you wouldn't think that virtually that they would be, because we cannot see each other, but you really feel a tremendous amount of energy and love and exchange in those.
Yeah, I'm a
So,
huge fan of healing circles. I really believe that that energy just, it doesn't matter if it's virtual or in person, it just really ripples. I love that.
yeah. So one thing I want to say about helping others and healing the universe is, obviously this is my own very personal take, is feeding people. And you can feed people in different ways. Yes, I really mean feeding them with food, but you can also feed people in other ways that I want to touch on first. You know, I think a huge way to feed a person, not with food, is to listen to them. Because when you listen to a person, it's something that sometimes in our society isn't happening a lot. And it makes someone feel so incredibly special to be heard. So I think that's a great way. If you're like, I don't have money, I don't know what to do, you can listen to someone, ask someone a question, and then hear their story. Because everyone has a story. Even you shy people in here, you have a story that you can tell if someone is asking you. And I was in a situation recently, and I was asking someone questions, and someone asked me if I was a journalist. And they were like, "Are you a journalist?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Wow, you ask a lot of questions." And I said, "Yeah, I love to hear people's stories. And that's how you find out about people, is by asking questions." But aside from that, you know, feeding people, just cooking and sharing food with intention is so nourishing. And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It can, I think, even if you like pick up a cookie at the store, right? If you're not someone who is a big baker, just, or whatever, making something small for someone and taking it to them. We often take food or baked goods to like the fire department here, because it's just a way to kind of give back and have gratitude. And I think that's so special. And I am starting a program in September for kids that's free. It's sold out already. Actually, it's called Gather to Give, because I want to teach children about giving back with using their passion for purpose. So these are all kids that love to cook, and we're going to determine some different spaces to give back to. And I think that is also very important to help teach young people that, because we can actually, we're all in this together. All of us on Insight Timer, I feel like we don't need to sell anybody here. You know, you're here for a reason, but sometimes young people aren't getting this message, and sharing this message with them will help them be the adults that we all are, but it will be a bigger collective.
I was going to say, I liked what you said about feeding people by listening. I think I'm a good listener. I was getting my nails done this weekend, and this woman walked in and she started talking about how she just retired and this was her first time there. And like I could tell she wanted to talk, and the nail technicians were kind of smiling, but they weren't really engaging her. So of course Violet steps in, because you all know how much I love to talk. But I did it because I wanted her to be comfortable. So I started asking her questions. We had an amazing conversation. By the time I left, I felt like she was my best friend. And like I could just see how she lit up. And that made me feel so good to see that I was able to help somebody that way. I mean, it's such a small thing. I listened, I asked a few questions. She pretty much told me her whole life story, but it made her happy. And I love that. So I think that's a great suggestion. As you know, I don't cook, but I do feed people often by bringing food, to I'll buy food and bring it to them. So I love those suggestions. Yeah, Beverly, listening to understand instead of respond. Absolutely.
And Phil said something that I think is so true. Phil said, we're often good at giving love, but not so good at receiving it.
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah, is Onyx is you can hear him squeaking toys in the background. I'm sorry.
And I don't know if you want to touch on that, but I think it's very important to also take steps to receive love and allow yourself to, whether that's just saying, I'm going to receive the love, or I'm going to allow myself to receive love, because it's pretty amazing, I think, to receive love as well as give love. I receive love every time I do a live. This is why I love lives.
I
I
just
agree.
wanted to add regarding the kids. This last week, I was doing a celebration for my daughter, and we had a lot of kids doing a sleepover. And the way they are playing today is not the same as in our times. Many kids right now, they don't touch the earth, they are not barefoot, they don't know how to play. If we put them outside in the countryside, they don't really know how to play. And I feel this is important for this kind of work that we are doing right now. To heal, we need to connect with nature. We need to receive Mother Nature's energy and to connect with the divine. Most of the kids now, they are so into technology, they are not connecting with themselves, with Mother Nature, with the divine. So I feel it might be important to bring this reminder in case you are a parent or a grandparent or a child.
Yes, I mean, I think that's part of why I started this program. I actually was interviewed today about it, and the woman said, "Why did you want to start it?" And I said, well, I teach part-time in high school culinary, and kids do not know how to connect. They're not having conversations. They're not sure. They are immediately getting on their phone. They might be texting the person literally right next to them. They're not sure how to converse. Even my youngest son, he loves to talk, but last week he's like, "Oh, can I go into the city with my friend?" And I said, "Oh, sure." And I'm asking questions, and I'm like, "Does he have any siblings?" And he's like, "I don't know." "Yeah, he has a brother and sister." And I'm like, "Oh, how old are they?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know." He's like, "I just made that up." He's like, "I don't know." And every question I asked, he's like, "I don't know." And I said, "Are you actually talking to this person?" And he's like, "Yeah, but not about that stuff." But I do think that's important. I mean, they are probably talking about video games, you know, they're 16-year-old boys. But I said to him, you also have to know things about people. So you have to, like, sometimes tease it out of people a little bit, but ask questions, because I see kids now are, I feel old when I say this, but I feel that there's a lack of curiosity, which to me is sort of shocking.
I also think that girls tend to be a little more curious than boys. I have two boys and they ask, well, one of them does ask questions, but the other one does not. And, you know, my husband never asks questions. And I always say to him, well, did you ask? Or why didn't you ask? Like, what, like, what did you talk about?
Yeah.
I want to take on Suzanne's comment. She said, I want to be child, time to dance in the rain. And I want to bring a question for everyone here in the chat. And I really want to see the chat going on. What is the thing you are going to do next week in order to connect with nature, in order to be a child, in order to live like there are no problems, no challenges, no limitations, like you are, imagine that you are 7 again. What is the thing you are going to do? And you cannot say dance in the rain because now it's summer. So what are you going to do next week?
Well, I'm going to just throw this out here. I collect rocks. So I go outside and I collect rocks. And when I get the opportunity to go to Virginia, we have a creek behind our house, and I'll go sit in the creek and like scope out if there are any salamanders there or what little creatures are coming around me.
I was sitting on my deck today, which I don't do very often lately because it's so hot, but I sat outside today for a little while and I was looking around at all my dead flowers going, I really need to like come out here and get rid of these weeds and start putting some pretty things out there. A couple of years ago when one of my dogs crossed over, I made this amazing garden outside. I used to sit there every day. I used to sit there and cry, but it felt good. But I really let it go. And I was sitting outside today with my puppy Onyx, and I'm like, all right, we need to clean this up and make this pretty. Because I agree, you know, Fatima, you were saying we need to get outside more. And I said to myself, I definitely need to do that. So I'm gonna do it. I'm not one to sit out there and get eaten by mosquitoes, but I'm gonna do it.
Wait, do you have a lot of mosquitoes in Portugal?
We do. I think everywhere, but we do a lot.
I'm definitely a mosquito magnet.
The situation in Portugal is that we are not prepared. If it is too cold, the houses are not prepared for too cold. If it's too hot, the houses are not prepared for too hot, or the electricity is too expensive. We have lots of mosquitoes, we don't have that many, the grid that protects the protection. We don't have that many, so we have everything. We are just waiting for the things to beat us, I feel.
Oh, I love what Jamie just said. She laid under the trees in the grass with shoes off. I am deathly afraid of doing that because we have a lot of snakes around here. And the last thing I want is for one to come up and, you know, wrap itself around my toe.
And you also have bears.
Bears, coyotes, turkey, you name it, fox. Wild Kingdom.
Did you guys see what Jennifer wrote? Was it Jennifer about the swings? Beverly and Jennifer. I think that's a great idea to go to like a playground. And you remember how carefree it feels to be on a swing? Do you remember that? No.
Yeah.
I do. I'm sorry. I keep muting myself because Onyx is using the loudest toys he can find. I love that though.
He's being a child.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, he's not squeaking. Oh, he stopped squeaking.
Yeah, I need to go to playground. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Fatima.
I go to playgrounds very often, and we always go with the dog. And last week, the kids that came for the sleepover, all of them wanted to walk the dog. And the dog could easily go free because it's a dog that is very used. But the kids wanted the leash and wanted to walk the dog, and not just the pleasure of going with the dog and walking with the dog. I feel connection with animals is also important, not only with nature, but with animals, humans, anyone. It's so interesting that we are speaking about children, and not only about adults, because the new generation, the more we can guide in a good way for the healing. And again, it's about bringing awareness. And then we all have different gifts. We all have different tastes or, hobbies, pleasures. So not everyone needs to do sound healing, but if we can guide children in that direction, that will be awesome. I'd like to bring up that today is the last day of the first 6 months of the year, and 2025 is just, the first semester is just ending today, and we are entering in the new semester. And I have been doing this reflection about all the achievements. I sent a newsletter today with that, the achievements from the first 6 months of the year, and the intentions for the second. I don't know if you want to share any of your achievements, even here on Insight Timer. I feel Violet have been doing so many lives still with Ask a Guide and presenting new teachers. You have, Melanie, you have been bringing the gongs and the sound healing to the foods that you were already bringing. Do you want to share a little bit of that? Because celebrating is also a way of healing.
That must be why I'm healed. I celebrate myself all the time.
Right,
Violet, you go first.
I was gonna say I still need to do some healing because I don't celebrate myself enough, and that's again part of my being shy. But I love what I do on Insight Timer, and Anybody who knows me knows that I don't do it for money. I don't do it for any reason other than I love being in the community and I love being with these teachers. I love meeting new teachers, and I have met so many and I've gotten to know so many of you. And, that to me has been a huge achievement. It's just brings me a lot of joy. I love it, which is why when people like Melanie say, "Hey, do you want to do this?" I go, "Yes." Because I know I'm going to enjoy it. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to enjoy it.
Well, Violet, you have a huge heart.
Thank you.
I think because I don't, even though I'm not from New York, I definitely consider myself a New Yorker because I've lived here since I was 21. So Violet, I feel like you and I have that same sort of like edge to us, like don't mess around.
Right.
But when my cat passed away, Violet was, writing in the Facebook group for the Insight Timer teachers, like, hey guys, Melanie's cat unexpectedly died. Let's send support her way. And she sent me a beautiful memory gift. And you're just so incredibly thoughtful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Well, I want to acknowledge that.
I appreciate that. I have a big soft spot where animals are concerned too, because they bring us so much joy and so much comfort. And, I love them.
Yes. I hope you guys are reading some of the comments, but
I'm reading them.
Jill and John kind of wrote something similar about self-love. And I was in a women's group once, and this woman said, and this is an important lesson for everyone, men, women, children, it isn't bragging if it's true. And I hope that in terms of self-love, everybody walks away remembering that. It is so important to remember how amazing you are. I mean, if you've listened to any of my affirmations, I really end all of them with, I am a miracle, because each of us are miracles. And if we're a miracle, we are meant to be celebrated. And we all have things to celebrate. Phil, I don't know you. I know I've seen you in Fatima's lives, but I know you're a very generous soul. And I hope that you celebrate that about yourself. I don't know what else to celebrate about you, but I do know that you're very generous. So I think that's important. You have to acknowledge the gifts that you have, because those gifts, when you acknowledge them, they're going to be for the whole world. And I just think that's such an amazing space to live in.
Yes, I like what Jennifer said. We've been conditioned to not celebrate ourselves. That's so true. I'm definitely so guilty of that. Like, I'm not even comfortable, not anymore, but I was never comfortable receiving compliments. And it took me, until I want to say 5 years ago. How old am I now? Where I could actually say thank you and just leave it at that, rather than trying to make excuses like, oh no, it was no big deal. Oh no, it's not me. So I encourage everybody to work on that one, because I know there's other people like me. Someone throws you a compliment and you just, oh no, thank you, and just accept it.
I would like to do something very, very, if maybe it's a good idea. I'd like to bring up some names from people that are not teachers, that usually they come to our lives. And I'd like to invite everyone to share something about that person, because
Great
most of the
idea.
times we have these people encouraging us. And something I say a lot in my lives or workshops or whatever I do is always, I see you, I hear you. And today in my life, I was not doing that because I had 30 minutes of sound healing, and 30 minutes goes really fast. But let's start, for example, Melanie was speaking about feel. Let's bring feel. People in my life have been seeing Phil, and he's also in the sound group. Can you please share one word or sentence about Phil in the next 15 seconds? Let's do that way so we can cover everybody. And Melanie already shared, I don't know if you know Phil, Violet. I can say that Phil is always asking everyone, how are you? And that is very kind, when someone is asking the other person how they feel. So Danny said magical, generous soul, I see you, Phil. partly that is very, very kind. And just with these few seconds, I feel that Phil, I feel that Phil is already feeling a shift, right? Can I share someone else? I'm seeing April here. April is always the first person, or she tries to be the first one saying hi in my lives. April, can anybody here say something about April? And I can say she's very, very sweet. I already met her and she's really, really, really sweet. And I pass the word to you, Melanie. Maybe you
Very,
have...
very supportive too. I see her often, and she's always very supportive.
Yes, she's very thoughtful and encouraging. I like what Danny said about April. April always bringing the party. Okay, I think that we have to go back and read what Peter Brook wrote about Phil. That's a pretty powerful statement. I don't know if Phil saw it. Peter Brook said,
Wow.
Phil, along with many lovely men here, restores my faith in men, a generous, gentle soul. That's so beautiful.
And I love, did you see, Melanie, because you said at the beginning, I love saying the name of the people. Right now we have people, April is this, April is that. People are saying the name of April and Phil. Let's move to the next one so we can cover more people. Peterbrook. Or Peterbrook. I don't know how do you say her name? I need to learn how
It's Peterbrook because I thought it was Peta as well. And then she said it was Pita like the bread.
And I always said Peta, and I thought I was wrong.
I thought you were wrong too. I told you. I was like, it's not Pita, it's Peta.
Peta, gosh, I was gonna say Peta. I remember from way back when, always supportive, always at every live. You know, when I started out as a new teacher and was so unsure of myself, she was always there, always encouraging. So many people who are here. I mean, we could go through the list. I could probably name at least half of the people who are here who are always supportive. And you know, if I had tech issues, were always patient and kind. So yes, definitely Peta.
And she's like a team player. I see her supporting so many different teachers.
She even wants to teach me how to play the flute.
That's true. She did tell Violet in my group, you can go on YouTube and find some tutorials. Oh my God, April is punctual. Still, that is so true.
Let's get to the next one. Melanie, choose one.
I would like to choose Jessica.
I was thinking about
She
her.
here? I didn't see her.
Yes, she's here. She was a little, sometimes her comments get blocked, so that can happen. I also want to say Beverly said Peter Brook is a wordsmith, and she is. And Phil said she's always encouraging and supportive with good humor.
I feel that Jessica is funny. There are a lot of comments that she brings up that are really, really very intelligent.
I wrote Jessica is the kindest soul, and the keyboard corrected it to modest, which she is also modest.
And another person very supportive, always, you know, during the chat, telling people how to find you, what you've got coming up, how to find your group. I think that's amazing.
I do too. Jamie said, I was just thinking Jessica is funny.
And takes notes. I like that. Jessica's encouraging, kind, and takes notes. Yes, she does.
She does. I love that. She'll be like, hey, you can find the recipe in Melanie's group. You know, don't forget to follow Melanie. I'm like, girl, I love you. She is an amazing helper.
I feel, who has been doing that with me lately? I feel it's Carrie.
Carrie.
Oh,
Let's do Carrie.
Are you here, Carrie? Because I feel she has been kind of doing that with me. I don't have, you know, the mental availability to be everywhere. And she's I think she left a comment saying, the live is in half an hour, the live from today. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. I didn't, you know. So it's really, really supportive.
Yes.
Oh, Caroline, Ask Your Guides is something that I started a year ago where we bring teachers together like we are here now. And, your guides are your teachers. It's your opportunity to ask your teachers anything that you'd like to ask. And you must be referring to the group, right? We have a group called Ask Your Guides, which everyone's welcome to join. And if you want to do healing circles there, you can as well.
I had to log out of the live from here because I couldn't see any comments.
Violet, do you want to choose the next one?
Oh gosh, there's so many people here. Beverly, I see you popping up there, and I'm going to mention Beverly because another person who's usually very quiet, and I've been seeing her in lives for a long time. I remember we used to attend a lot of the same lives before I even was a teacher. Always very supportive. And I know you're shy, so am I. Trust me. You see me here on camera, and I know it's hard to believe, but I tell people all the time the reason I pushed myself to become a teacher was because I am very shy and I wanted to step outside my comfort zone. And it worked. So yeah, it's okay to be shy. I know how that feels.
I feel that she's very supportive. I also see, I have been not going to other lives recently, but I see her for a few months already supporting so many teachers.
And that support means a lot to us because, as I said, when I started out as a teacher, I didn't know if this was going to work, if I had anything to offer. And people, like Beverly, like Peta, like Jessica, I know I'm missing some people. There's been so many people who have been so supportive and would send comments afterwards and would thank me and encourage me during the live, after the live. It kept me coming back because I was really shy and terrified that first time I went on camera, and there were so many people there that were so supportive. I wouldn't have come back. I wouldn't be here now. So it means a lot.
I was just thinking, Angela just wrote in the chat, and I was thinking, Angela, I would love to, say her name because Angela's always been so supportive of me and coming to my lives and really amazing. We've communicated quite a bit, off app, and I really appreciate her. She's a very hard worker and really amazing person. And she's quiet, so I don't know if a lot of people actually know her.
Yeah, a lot of the times the quiet people kind of slip,
I would
to the
like to
background.
mention two very quiet people on my lives. That is Suzanne and Laurie. And I feel they also go to other lives, but they are so quiet, but so sweet. I always feel their energy. I believe Suzanne and Laurie are there, but I really love them. They are quiet and they are always on my heart.
And I just saw Joanne's message a second ago. She says she's applied to do lives, but still wonders what I have to offer. Joanne, I ask myself that every day. You just have to do it. Just do it. Believe me, if I had let that stop me, I'd still be sitting here wondering. I suffer from imposter syndrome. I say that all the time. Like, what am I doing here?
Hmm.
Yeah, Lori's definitely somebody who I see a lot as well. Lori, quietly back there, being always supportive.
And Suzanne is here, see, but she's very quiet, but she's always there, always there. Let's come up with Danny. Can we share about Danny, because Danny is very we were speaking about quiet people, but I see Danny participating so much. So maybe can we share something about Danny?
I see Danny always being supportive too, always one of the first to speak up. And that, for me, again, being such a quiet person, it's such a comfort. Hi, CG. It's such a comfort when you see people popping in and speaking, and you don't feel like you're just, I don't, I'll be honest, I don't go live alone anymore. Part of the reason why is because I need this interaction. But when I did, and people like Danny would, type and talk in the chat, like that was just, it's like a blanket, it's such comfort. I see people, I'm looking at the icons going by. I see people that we know that are quiet up there, hiding, I say. Don't hide, just speak up.
Danny is a beautiful soul, so observant and sees everyone. I agree. She makes me feel at ease and welcome.
Hey, Carly, I see you there. There's so many teachers here. I'm looking, I see Caitlin. I'm calling you out, whether you like it or not. Let's see, I see Michelle. I see a lot of teachers sometimes, and they're very quiet. I'm the same way. I will go to other people's lives and I will not say a word sometimes. And I get it, but I'm like, yeah, don't hide. Be seen.
I agree. John is here.
Can we bring men now? In my mind, I'm seeing John. I'm seeing, we already said Phil. So Sandy, David. Do you have any words to share about them? I feel them very participative also.
I mean, John, the teacher, is that who you're referring to?
No, the John that is very quiet,
Oh,
was very shy and has been participating more. He
yeah.
just said, getting Yorkie kisses. I feel that we are celebrating everyone here. Oh, see? We were speaking about the first 6 months of the year and the way we want to bring collective healing. And we are doing that. We are giving back to anyone here. Maybe I'd love to open the space for you to say the name of the person that you want, especially if we didn't say yet. For example, Jamie, anyone that we didn't say yet. And let me just highlight that
Jamie.
we have been saying just people that are not teachers in purpose, right? Because are the ones that usually
I'm,
are
I was
not
gonna
on.
say, I'm glad you mentioned Jamie, because when Melanie and I would try to do book clubs, Jamie was always our volunteer. Nobody else wanted to be on camera. She was there with us at the last minute. She would always show up. And I think she did something else with us. Didn't she do some other?
And she gifted me Ableton.
Oh, very nice. Very
Good.
nice.
Jamie is generous and very helpful.
Very generous, very helpful, always making suggestions on the tech end when she had knowledge that she could share. And John,
Yes.
I've only recently gotten to know you, John, but I do see you in the chat.
Oh, I didn't know you were talking about that, John. I love John. John comes to my sound
Cooking.
baths
Does
and cook, and he came to the cooking one for the
he-
first time recently and
I
said, I
heard him
don't really
mention
love to
that.
cook. Yeah, he's just a joy.
I'm trying to read Patri's comment. She said, I did something similar to this when I was a teacher. The girls would form cliques and exclude and bully. The other teachers took the boys and I taught the girls how to compliment people. They usually started out commenting on appearance only. We had to learn the vocabulary of compliments. We then took pictures of people sitting next to someone they didn't like and analyzed the body language. They had to eat lunch with someone new and report back. One girl told me she had been bullied every day throughout her school career. This is very powerful. So I'm going to open the table. Please grab the name of someone. It can be a teacher, it can be a colleague, it can be anyone, and say something about that person. And keep in mind, you are bringing love. You are doing the collective healing that we have been sharing. You are being committed to love, just like John Energy was reminding us all in this first semester of the year. Bring any name you want.
Peter just mentioned Rebecca. I was going to say that Rebecca, I know, is a lot like me in the sense of, we were talking one day about how we both did a reading at I think it was her sister's wedding as well. And I cried and people thought it was because I was sentimental, but it was because I was terrified. So when I heard Rebecca say that during a live, I was like, oh, it's not just me. It's so good to hear there's other teachers who are like me. And yeah, she is definitely very inspirational. Yes, I read your comments up there, Peta.
Mhm.
And John, absolutely generous. Absolutely.
The next phase of these, because I know some people here in the chat, they are looking for love. So next phase, maybe Violet, you need to do a ask your guides in a dating way. So
In a day.
people can connect in
I've
that
had people say that to me before.
I think that's a great idea.
Ask your guides dating edition.
No,
Yes.
a meditation dating app, like everyone's sort of got the same vibe. You know, it's not like Bumble or Tinder. I don't know them all.
I don't know them anymore.
This way you're like, oh, these are sort of like-minded individuals who would be
Meditating. I like that. Meditating.
Dolly, do you have a partner? Maybe you could spearhead this.
I will.
We could do
I
it
will,
together, the
I was
three of
gonna say,
us.
I will host.
No, it needs to be like, I think off app. I don't think the app will go for it.
Mm. Yeah, we don't want any more trouble.
Oh, but Danny wrote, this community has become my soul family.
Same here.
And thank you also, Danny, for mentioning it. She mentioned it. Me, Melanie, and John Energy have literally helped transform her life. And I feel I love John Energy also, and Melanie and Violet. So I do feel we are a very transformative group, or at least we do it with a heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to say that this Peterbrook, I know you're here, that I guess because you have a unique name, anytime I go to type and I write P-E-T, it immediately puts Peterbrook. And I'm like, how many times have I written her name that my phone knows to go ahead and default to that?
Funny.
David said Adriana, she's a great teacher on here, has been so incredible over the months. I've been following her and joining her lives, and only a year ago, I never had imagined I could be the person I am now. That's beautiful.
Oh, Carly, thank you for that. Carly writes, I choose Violet. You're my soul sister. Love how you shine in a way that makes others find their way. Okay, you're gonna make me cry. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Carly.
I don't see that.
Oh, that's so weird.
I know a lot of my chat, I think chat is missing.
Oh.
Jessica said, whenever I wrote PB, I think of peanut butter cups. Yeah, I'm really appreciative of everybody coming today and being so open and being so generous, and coming to 3 lives consecutively is a lot of work, we know. So that you went from Fatima to me to Violet and hopefully you received exactly what you needed from all of this.
Thank you so much, everyone. Our intention was to bring, the crystal balls, the handpan, the drum, the gong, and then this moment of sharing. So thank you so much. Please join the healing circles, join our groups. My group here on Inside Timer is Sound Healing Mastermind. If you go on the groups, if you don't find it, hit us a message privately, and we will share the link for the group to make it easy for everyone here. And thank you so much for your words. Thank you so much for supporting our work. We do this for a living, or at least we really dedicate ourselves, and having your support has been really, really incredible. And I can't wait for the second semester of 2025 and how we can bring healing to the world.
Yeah. And, Melanie inspired me to do another peaceful pause, which we're doing on August 2nd. And I just looked, I'm like, I didn't pull up a card for that. And you can't do it in the middle of the live. but it is under my profile, so it's not hard to find. And it's going to be August 2nd. We have 28 teachers have signed up already. And I love that because talk about bringing a lot of collective healing and sending out good vibes. You know, that's like one of my favorite things to do. So I'm really looking forward to that. If you're a teacher and you're here, new teacher, seasoned teacher, please reach out because I love to have as many teachers join us as possible. Violet's vibes. Oh, Jessica. Aw.
BD is here. BD is also an amazing soul.
Oh, BD, yes, I didn't see you. And yes, BD, this one is recorded. I will, as I do with all of them, I will upload it. I wish that I had recordings of the other two to put it all together. You didn't record yours, did you? Fatima and Melanie?
Well, I didn't. I only recorded the audio. Yes, I recorded the audio directly. I can only provide the audio. Usually, I add the audio on the whatever I cannot say here. So
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
the audio I can provide.
But yes, I will definitely, I will upload the video. And that's all I'm saying.
Well, thank you, Violet, for hosting us, all as always.
Oh, it's my
Thank you,
pleasure.
Fatima.
Always my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Violet. It's really so. If we can finish this by saying anyone that supports teachers, anyone that supports the collective is so powerful. So, Violet, thank you so much for supporting the teachers here. Always, when I have a new teacher that I meet, I have been meeting teachers from Inside Timer in person here in Portugal. Some of them that come here, and then I get to meet them. And I always say, go to Violet. She's perfect to put the teachers out there.
And you know what? And I wanted to add that too. Please, people keep sending teachers my way. I've got a bunch of new teachers that are going to be joining us. I'm so excited about that because other teachers have sent them to me. People from the community have sent them to me. And they'll say, hey, so and so told me during my live that I should reach out to you. And I'm like, yes. So keep doing that.
Inga, I also love Inga. She participates a lot. And BD just arrived and she's already receiving compliments. Maybe she doesn't know why, but I love this energy. Thank you so much. This is such a beautiful family.
Yes,
really
thank
is.
you. Thank you guys so much for being here.
I guess that's my cue to end the live, right? All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.